Hi guys, I'm Viking Dog 78, your Tier 1 champion for Season 10 of the Gran Turismo 7 League in Aero League Racing, and I'm here to cover round 1 of Season 11. Obviously, I won last season in the Chevrolet Corvette C7, a very good car that unfortunately we cannot use for this season, so let's get into the car that I chose to pick for season 11, which is the Renault RS01. A car that some people don't really look up to, don't really think very high of. It's definitely a car that has potential, doesn't have a whole lot of straight line speed, and with it being an MR car, it can get pretty hard to manage properly, but it does have potential, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a grid with Iggy in the BMW, BX in the Peugeot, Alex in the Mercedes, SK7 in the Subaru, Cap and Benjamin in the Mercedes, and so on. So we go now into quali that takes place around Watkins Glen. Obviously, round 1 is here in the America. First lap was a complete mess at 44.2. Second lap was a lot more decent. I kind of went a bit safe just because I wanted to get a proper banker in. It's gonna be a 43.6, which is still a decent time and will get me P2 for the time being, but obviously what's most important is to get a proper final lap where I can really take risks. So we will put on new softs, and now we will take a look at the final and my best run in its entirety. So we approach turn 1. Turn 1 we brake at the 250 meters roughly. Take as much inside curb and maximize the exit. I get a good line, and man, you're gonna want to rev all the way here because you're on an uphill section, so you want to use the higher revs to have more speed, more power from the engine. We keep it in 6th gear to maximize the straight line speed that the Renault has to offer. And now we approach the double chicane at Watkins Glen. We brake at the 300, stay in 6th, and then down to 4th. I slightly missed the apex, but it's still a decent second sector so far. Really using all of the track width. It's very easy to take track limits penalties around here, but this is quali, it's the final run, so you gotta go for it. Using all of the track again. We brake at after the 200 board here. Keep an inside line, and then as early as possible on the power, 100% throttle input. We're on a good lap so far, not my best, but a very decent one. I'm on course to take pole position. I messed up this corner a little bit. I go towards the apex a bit too early, and that probably cost me a 10th or so. This corner is quite decent, down to 2nd gear for rotation, then back up to 3rd on the power nice and early. It's a very good time so far. Again, not my best, but then we have to maximize this final sequence of corners. Down to 4th, get to the apex, maximize the exit, which I don't really do. Take the slipstream from Isaac in front, and we will finish with a 43.4, which is provisional pole. Unfortunately, Sonic does go 800ths of a second faster than me, which I think I have lost in that corner in the 3rd sector, which means it's P2 for the sprint race of round 1 here in Watkins Glen. So TCS to 1, obviously, to get a good start. The Renault has a very good launch compared to some other cars. I immediately get almost alongside Sonic. Sonic cuts across and loses traction, which results in contact. That was not a good move, honestly, but we get alongside into turn 1. I will lead for the sprint race, which is already more than I thought I would accomplish. It's also a bad scenario because now I have 20 seconds of straight where I have the slowest car on a straight and I'm leading the pack. Everybody's gonna take my slipstream. I have to somehow defend this, so the only thing that I can do is go to the inside, defend this. You can see in the radar that Sonic goes for the move around the outside. He doesn't stick it. I receive a small bump. I think it was initiated by somebody else in the pack of cars that there's behind me. But we managed to keep P1, and now What I have to do is try to build a gap, try to stretch my lead while also saving my tires, because the rear tire wear will be very important on the Renault as it is an MR car. But at the same time, I also have, to stress a gap but look after my tires. So you will see that while I'm speeding up through this section, I am slowly gaining. I'm up to 8 tenths while the guys behind are fighting. Iggy is back up to P3, Kepler is up there, BX is up there in the Peugeot. He didn't manage to get P1 like I predicted with that beast of a car. And now you will see the gap to Sonic in the following laps, 8 tenths. Once again, Iggy goes faster in a 43.5. It's 1.6 on lap 4. Lap 5 it's 1.4. I want to showcase this. I get a good run through here, and or maybe not the best one. Sonic will gain a little bit through the straight, but it's not really relevant. What I want to show you is how good he was in the Subaru through the double chicane and the corner after. I don't get like a bad run. It's decent, not my best. But you will see that coming out of this sector, he went from 1.3 to 8 tenths. So it's half a second that he gains there, and now we're on lap 7. He's right behind me because my tires are cooked. I did a decent job at saving them, but still I'm on a pad, I'm on an MR car. This was to be expected, and the Subaru is very strong on tire wear. So this is the part of the race where Sonic will be at its strongest and I will be at my weakest. And I know that I have 3 laps where I have to defend position. It's gonna be near enough impossible. He goes around the outside, he doesn't commit to it. It's smart enough to not commit there, because he will have so many opportunities and my tires will only get worse and his tires will still be fine by the end of the race. I have to cover the inside here. He doesn't really commit to the move around the outside again. That's smart. Then we get up to this corner. I do cover the inside quite early. He stands there and then he kind of bumps me away. I think I had the corner, so it's something that I don't want to say I'm going to report, but I will have a better look at it afterwards. I take the slipstream back. He brakes rather early here, so I go back down the inside. I'm on that tire, so there's no chance I'm going to retake the lead and keep it. At this point, I'm just fighting more for pride than anything else. And it's probably not smart because Iggy is like a second behind and I should really focus on trying to keep the position. Second position over Iggy, which would be a very good result as this is a BMW track. Apparently it's also a BRZ track, but I think the whole calendar with this tire wear will be a BRZ track. Anyway, we skip to lap 8, to the start of lap 9. Iggy is now in my slipstream. His front tires will be dead, but I have an entire side of the car which is dead, so he gets a run from 6 tenths behind all the way to 5, then 4. He will close the gap. He's not close enough to go for a move into the chicane. The BMW is definitely stronger in a straight line than the Renault, but not as much as some people make it to be. So I can take a decent line, but I kind of slide off and I have no control of the car here. He kind of bumps me off. I apologize there immediately to him because I know I didn't rejoin the track safely, but I had no legit control over the car. I was sliding off, and then it was a combination of the curb, the dirt, and the car not having any tires left. Here I defend the inside, and then I try to block off his switchback. He kind of bumps me again. I guess he didn't have the opportunity to properly switch back on me in that occasion, so I defend once again the inside line. He goes around the outside and tries to switch back. He will get somewhat of a run into the third to last corner. I defend the inside. He does go the long way around, but the inside here is rather easy to defend. He's still on the outside. He's still trying to get around through here. He's briefly alongside, but then I have the inside through here, and on that tires you cannot really fight too much. So we get the final corner right, and I will manage to bring home P2, which is a good result. But again, Sonic in front way too fast, and his tires were way too good mount any sort of challenge to him. Now, time for the 40 minutes feature race where I will be starting second to last, just in front of Sonic and behind Iggy BX. It's a very different race compared to the sprint where you have to manage tires and fuel and really pick your moment in terms of overtaking and opportunities that you take while you get through the field, but also you wanna ideally stay in front of the other drivers that you will be fighting with. So skipping through, the first sector pretty much, it's a rolling start, so nothing happens. There may be some fighting in front, but we're all nicely spread out. And as I was saying about keeping position to the guys you're fighting with, I just messed up the chicane and allow Sonic through. So yeah, not my best moment. A little mistake that probably doesn't cost me anything overall in the race result, but it's not really something that motivates you when you make that kind of mistake. We are second of the group, but the group is fighting now, so we will catch up to them quite quickly. Start of lap 2, Isaac goes off at the double chicane, so both Sonic and myself can easily go through and gain the first position of this feature race. We also have Iggy and BX fighting in front of us, and that's a crucial point of the feature. We have to clear the Peugeot VGTs before we get stuck behind them for too long. They are obviously an unovertakeable car on a straight line, so we have to figure a way. Iggy kind of figured it out because he absolutely goes for it around the outside of the final corner. That's amazing that they managed to make it work, but I expect no less from Iggy and BX. They're still side by side, and it's just funny. They will go into turn 1 side by side. Iggy gets the position. He's clearly in front. Just look at how ridiculous the VGT is in a straight line. He's like 3 to 4 tenths behind at the start of this uphill section, and you will see him just in front of us pull alongside and just fly by like he wasn't even there. It's just ridiculous, but obviously the struggles that he has in the corners make up for it. Iggy gets the jump eventually. BX has picked up a penalty as well. We are on lap 4. So the penalty is essentially the way I figured we would overtake BX. It was the easy way out, the free out of jail card pretty much. Sonic goes for the move, which slows BX down quite a bit. I wanted to sit behind in this corner and I take the line to just sit behind BX, but he brakes super early. I think he wanted to let me through. I didn't understand it, so I bumped him a little bit. I apologize for that. It wasn't intentional, obviously. But yeah, up to P13 and we cleared the VGTs, which is very important. Lap 5, there's the other Peugeot of Neo going off, and this creates this little gaggle of cars with himself, Sonic, Owen, and myself in like half a second. Neo also has a penalty and dirty tires, so Sonic is trying to make a move. Owen doesn't get a good exit. He probably was stuck a little bit behind Sonic. He doesn't defend the line into the final corner of sector 2, so I just slide down the inside, and that's another move, an important move, because Owen in the BMW was another guy that I was worried about. It would cost me a lot of time overtaking. I had a tiny look down the inside of Sonic, but I was also trying to protect myself from Owen. So yeah, other 2 places cut. Now lap 7, we are behind CMP. Sonic goes for the move into turn 1. I try to follow through, and now I'm side by side with the GTR. I should have no hopes of getting the overtake done, but like Sonic is giving the slipstream alternatively between the 2 of us, so now I have the slipstream, and that gives me enough of an overrun so that now that he has switched to CMP, I still get to be in front while entering the chicane, and that's very important. That's another position. I'm essentially following through Sonic at this stage of the race because he's going for a little bit of braver moves. and I can pick up the pieces and just make use of his moves to follow through and going back towards the front of the pack. There's a good pack fighting in front of us. I think there's my teammate Kerpel, there's Bomber, there's Iggy, there's Chris. Yeah, I turn around this corner and Bomber is spun, Kepler is spun, and Kerpel is going slowly. So I don't know what happened there, but it's another three positions up to P8 after 7 laps on a circuit where it's not as easy as you may think it is to overtake. That's a good recovery drive so far, and obviously I'm trying to look after my tires. Most importantly, I'm looking after my fuel. That could be very important in our fight with Iggy and such. Up to lap 8, we're still behind Kerp, my teammate for this season. Obviously, he's holding up quite nicely. Chris almost loses it, and it's unfortunate because when he rejoins, he manages to rejoin in front of me but behind Sonic. So that creates a little bit of a gap that I didn't really want, because now I have to go for a move on Chris into turn 1, which is not ideal, and this will create a very dangerous scenario for me where I go for the move and now I will not have a slipstream heading into the longer straight. I will have a Mazda behind, I have CMP in the Nissan behind, there's Owen in the BMW, everybody taking my slipstream. Again, just like at the start of the sprint, not the position that you want to be in when you have a car that it's on the slower side on a main straight. So they take the slipstream, they kind of try to go around the outside, but I managed to defend position. Kerp is still managing to keep Sonic behind, which I didn't expect. Sonic tries to force a move here. But Kerp still manages to hold around the outside. So this will allow me to get back in touch with them after I lost some time with Chris. End of lap 9, and Sonic goes for a move in the final corner, which is again fair play. There may have been a bit of contact, but Kerpa is struggling on tires a little bit as I am. They get a bad exit, so I try to have a little bit of a look and make it 3 wide, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I stick behind and try to get a better run off of turn 1. Again, there was a little bit of pushing involved. I get the move on Kerp, and now I receive a big bump from Chris, which gives me a lot of speed. And now I'm ahead of Sonic, but I don't have a slipstream. There are other 3 cars coming up behind me. I am so scared at this point that there will be an incident into the chicane. So I just try to go around the outside of Sonic, not to make the move, but just to survive the corner and take it a bit more quickly in the first section before slotting behind Sonic. Luckily, all of us managed to get through it unscathed. Lap 11, Sonic has pulled away and is about to catch Iggy. I'm close on pace with Iggy, which is a nice surprise. Sonic at this point has a big tire wear advantage over the 2 of us. If you look at the bottom left, but I think I will zoom in, my tires are dead at this point, and I still have quite a bit of way to go because I'm planning on pitting on lap 13, which is now. Chris is trying to undercut me, and I'm expecting the remaining cars to pit in this lap, so that then we can go for 10 laps on the soft tires, which is a reasonable amount. We get to the end of lap 13, and surprisingly for me, the McLaren's pit, which is fair, but Sonic stays out. He could have undercut all of us by like 3 or 4 laps and still be fine on tires. Most importantly, Iggy stayed out to go 14 on mediums, 9 on softs because of the front tires wear that he experiences. I saved quite a nice bit of fuel, which will allow me to gain a lot of time in the pits. I was very satisfied with that. I also underfueled a little bit, but I think it was going to be fine because of the way I was driving the car without losing time. And now we have a soft stint where after we rejoin, and it's important that we rejoin in front of Chris, I'm gonna have to manage the tires, because at this point I know Iggy will come out very close to me, and I know he will be on better tires from now to the end essentially, because they will be a lot fresher. So yes, I have to push because we have to catch Mackies that is on mediums and the McLarens that are on softs. So end of lap 14 and start of 15, Iggy is coming out of the pits, Sonic is coming out of the pits. Yeah, I'm trying to manage my tires, so I'm not pushing 100%. I could go faster, but I would destroy my tires like I did in some way in the sprint. Iggy is a lot more behind than I anticipated. Maybe he made a mistake, I don't know. He's also behind Chris, so he was 30 seconds in front of me. He's now 3 seconds behind. So that's a nice bit of breathing space that I have to myself compared to him. And now the focus is on preserving the tires, but also going after Mackies in the Nissan and the two McLarens. I was kind of not expecting to get to Alex because he's a very quick driver, as he proved in Bathurst last season, and the McLaren tire wear should definitely help him. But I thought that Versailles was just up there and I could see him from my perspective, so he was somebody that I could realistically catch, and obviously Mackies was on medium, so he was going to be definitely a prey for me. But then Alex, I think, got a penalty, which put him like a second in front of me, and that meant that now the podium was pretty much a lot more on the tables because the McLarens were just in front of me. So we skipped to lap 18, we caught up with the McLarens, and right in front we have Mackies and Sonic, so we're in a scenario where in 2 seconds there are 5 cars. Iggy has gotten past Chris, and he is now 3 seconds behind me. He will be gaining because, as I said, he's on better tires. He also has more pace around here. Now I have to clear the McLarens as Sonic clears Mackies, but I think they're still alongside. Now my mentality here is I need to get this move done. I wanna have the McLarens and possibly Mackies as well between myself and Iggy. If I get through immediately without losing too much time, then Iggy will have a lot more work to do if he wants to catch me for P2. I'm not thinking about P1 anymore because Sonic has way too much speed and very good tire wear. So I'm thinking about how I can get P2 in this race. And obviously if these guys are fighting for position, it's not like they will get out of the way. That said, they bump into each other here, and I just managed to get by Versailles and stay very close to Alex. So that's one spot that I gained straight away. And I'm very, very close to Alex. So I'm lining up the same move that I did on Owen towards the start of the race in this corner. Unfortunately, while I was switching back for the inside line, I bumped him a little bit, and that meant that I wasn't able to fully commit to this dive down the inside. Mackie is also struggling quite a bit on mediums. He's lacking obviously pace compared to us on softs. Now I have to kind of defend from Versailles, but at the same time Alex goes for this move that pushes Mackie's off, so that's one place. He gets a worse run out of that corner, so I just slide down the inside, and that's 2 places. So in this one lap I did exactly what I wanted to do. I put 3 cars between myself and Iggy, which become 2 because he immediately jumps Mackie's. And now I have to build a gap immediately from this group of cars so that I am a bit more safe. And I think as I look behind now, Alex is letting Versailles through, and I don't know if he wants to let Mackie's through as well because of the move that he did. But that means that in a short bit, Iggy will immediately be up there and very, very close to me anyway. He will get by the McLarens probably on this main straight. We jump now to the end of lap 22, start 23, which is the final lap of the race. Sonic is long gone, and I have 2 issues at the moment. Number 1 is Iggy, which is very close to me. Number 2 is my tires are absolutely dead for the 3rd time today. So now I have to defend once again from Iggy, while not taking penalties, while not spinning out or stuff like that. And yes, I have to defend, so I have a bit of fuel left, so I can just go full beans from here to the end and just rev the hell out of this car. Iggy gets a decent run, but it's not enough to attack into the chicane. This time I get it right, unlike in the sprint race. He stays close to me, but here's the thing, in the second part of these longer corners I had a bit more pace than him, because of how the MR cars drive. So I was having the kind of edge in that section of the corners, which allowed me to always have some sort of gap to protect myself. As we enter the final two sectors, he's very close. He will get a good run out of this corner, which means he will use the slipstream to its fullest. It's the best range for the slipstream. I have to defend last second because I saw how close he was getting and I didn't want him to try a dive at the last second. I have to protect this corner as well. Just like in the sprint, he doesn't commit to the outside this time. And I get a good enough exit that I don't have to worry about defending into this corner. I just have a tenth over him, but it's just enough. And it's just about, once again, getting the final corner right, and I will finish P2 in the feature race, which will make for a double P2 in the first round of Season 11 of ALR Tier 1. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week for round 2 around Alsace. So have a nice day.